Have you been wanting to try needle felting doll hair but don't know where to start? Did you know you can make realistic looking doll hair from acrylic yarn? Are multi-needle tools worth it, and how does needle felting even work? Keep watching to find out. I started needle felting hair on my dolls about 10 years ago now, and I was immediately hooked. It's so much quicker and easier than making wefts and sewing the hair in place. If you're making dolls for young children, it might not be strong enough, but for cloth art dolls, needle felting's a game changer. Needle felting works by catching individual fibres and rooting them into the stuffing inside a doll's head. For this to work, you need felting needles. These come in different shapes and sizes. I use Heidi Feathers triangular needles. These ones are 38 gauge. I use this needle for most of my dolls. Each needle has tiny sharp notches or barbs in the sides. These snag the fibres and push them through the fabric and tangle them together with each other and with the stuffing fibre. To show you exactly how that works, I thought I'd set up a little experiment so we can see what's going on underneath the fabric inside the doll's head. I'm using a block of scrap foam as a felting mat. I'm currently using polyester to stuff my dolls, so I've got a sample of that here. I'm going to pin some quilting cotton over the stuffing on the mat and felt a couple of different fibres into it to see how they behave. I'm using the Clover pen style felting tool. This holds up to 3 standard felting needles. The base unscrews, you just slot the needles into the little grooves, then screw the base back on. This tool has a guard over the needles that leaves about an inch of them exposed. You can take that off if you need to, but I just leave it on. I'm starting with some bamboo roving. Bamboo makes lovely silky soft doll hair. I've had some really good results needle felting with it. You can use a single needle to felt with. You don't necessarily need a holder, but a felting tool or a holder makes it easier to grip. Multi-needle tools like this one save a lot of time because you're felting with several needles at the same time. It also adds to the stability of the needles and helps prevent breakages. Felting needles can be quite brittle. I got through quite a lot of them before I figured out the right technique. You need to keep the needles at a right angle to the surface, so the force goes straight down into the stuffing. If the needle doesn't go in straight, that's when they tend to snap. The Clover tool holds the needles parallel to one another, so it's much easier to keep them in the right position. I'll put a link to the felting tool and the needles down in the description. The idea is to keep stabbing through the fibre until it forms a smooth, dense mat over the fabric. I usually felt about the top ½ inch or so, and that's plenty strong enough to hold the hair in place. Before we remove that to have a look at the underside, I want to felt another sample. This is super chunky acrylic yarn, which is great for wavy textured hair. I'm going to felt a straight line as I would if I was making a parting in the hair. I use a felting tool with 2 needles in it for this one, so I can get a nice fine line. The great thing about acrylic yarn is that the fibres are often a lot longer than they are in natural roving, so it's better for larger dolls. You can actually make a doll wig using this method. Instead of cotton and stuffing, you'd just use a piece of felt shaped to fit the doll's head. Then you could use that for a clay or a plastic doll. Now, as you can see, that's holding quite well. If you pulled really hard, it would come out, but it should withstand brushing and styling. Okay, let's remove this from the mat and see what's going on underneath. We've got the bamboo here in red and the acrylic yarn in blue. Both of them have rooted right into the polyester stuffing and matted together with it. It feels quite solid, like a sheet of felt. So now we know how needle felting works. How does that work on a real doll head? This is a 7-inch beady doll that I've been working on over the last couple of days. She's got a hanging ribbon on the top of her head that I need to work around, and I also need to avoid these knots where the button eyes are anchored. I'm using some of the super chunky acrylic yarn for this. This shade is Dragon from the Signet Mythically Chunky range. I'm felting the strands in the direction I want the hair to fall. I'm going to fill in all around the hairline, then I'll unravel it and style it into a high ponytail. When I first started felting hair, I used to worry that I might catch the threads going through the head and that buttons would fall off, but it's never happened yet. If you get too close to a knot, it can break the needle. You just need to be fairly gentle. If you hit a place where the needles don't go in easily, don't force them. Try a single needle on its own or try a smaller gauge. Now I'm adding in a couple of strands of a lighter shade at the front. This shade is called Unicorn. I'm being really careful not to catch that ribbon. I'm going to unravel all of this and pull out the loose fibres, then I can use some of that excess to fill in the section in the middle. Super chunky yarn is easy to unravel and it has a lovely texture. You can also style it with hair straighteners and it goes very sleek and shiny. If you're finding this video helpful, please make sure you hit the like button to let me know. You can also subscribe if you like so you don't miss the next one. I don't want to create too much bulk, so I'm just felting a thin layer to cover the scalp. This stops any of the fabric showing through the hair. Now it's ready for styling. I want to keep the wavy texture, so I'm giving it a gentle brush with my trusty old Monster High hairbrush. I'm just smoothing it out and teasing out any of the remaining loose fibres. I use a bit of upholstery thread to tie it up and she's ready for a photo shoot. I've named this one Rosalind. If you want to learn more about needle felting doll hair, there's a video here that you won't want to miss. Go watch that one now and I'll see you next time. Bye!